So Jesus says, I am the door. I am the door, Jesus says. That means there is no other door. When you go to Jesus and you enter by him, he is the one who leads you to eternal life. He is the one who leads you to green pastures. King David, when he wrote Psalm 23, you know that famous psalm, oh, the Lord is my shepherd, he makes me lie down in green pastures. King David did not write that psalm in the middle of like beautiful England where there's rolling hills and it's postcard worthy with a bunch of cute little sheep around and it looks like an Easter holiday. No way, he wrote that psalm in the middle of a desert where there's sand and rocks and there is no green pasture in sight. And so when David wrote that psalm, what pasture was he talking about if it's not an Easter postcard pastor? Easter postcard pasture. He was talking about the pasture of God's presence. When you enter in by Jesus, and when I say by Jesus, because Jesus says, I am the way. You cannot enter into God's presence by a pastor or by a song or by something. You enter in by Jesus. We must remember that. Because there will come a time when the Antichrist will arise. And we are in end times. And when he arises, he would do everything except Jesus. He will give you anything except Jesus. Because obviously he's anti-Christ. He's not anti-good worship songs. He's not anti-amazing churches. He's not anti-big church building. He's not anti- let's make a good song and have a bunch of programs. He's not anti all these Christianese things. He is anti-Jesus. You must understand that. The devil does not like Jesus. And when Antichrist arises, he will be for anything except Jesus. Because he will be anti one thing. He's not anti-love. He's not anti-everybody love each other and have peace. He's not anti those things. He's anti-Jesus. Because he knows that if he takes Jesus out of the equation, then he could be that God who rules over your life. And so that's why it's so important that you're watching these videos, you're clinging to Jesus, and you're hearing about Jesus. Because that's who I preach about. Jesus only. Jesus is the door. He is the door, and those who enter in by the door, they will find green pasture. They will find rest for their souls. Jesus says, I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And I have other sheep that are not of this fold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock and one shepherd. And so, my friends, Jesus is the door. He is the door to rest for your souls. Look, guys, there's only one God of rest. And I don't know about you. Like, if there was one God I'd want to serve, that'll be the God of rest, you know? And Jesus is the God of rest. He says, come to me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. You'll be like, whoa. Wow, there's a God who is the God of rest, who could give rest. My goodness. Sign me up for that boat. And so, yeah, Jesus is more than that. He's the God of rest, and he gives you peace all around. He doesn't just give you peace. He gives you perfect peace. So the Jews, whenever there's this certain holiday, they would say shalom, shalom. They would say it twice. Shalom is the main greeting in the Hebrew language for the Jews. Like if you go to Jerusalem or Israel, you would hear shalom a lot. Shalom, shalom, shalom. But there are certain times during certain holy days where they say shalom, shalom twice. And what it means, it doesn't just mean peace, it means perfect peace. But the only way that you would know perfect peace is in Jesus. You see, God was foreshadowing that there will come a time when the Messiah would come, who is Jesus Christ, and he will give perfect peace. Jesus doesn't just want to give you peace, he wants to give you perfect peace if you would just believe in him and follow him. Believe in his words. Jesus just wants you to come to him. He says one word, and that is come.